Hello, everyone. My name is Vanita Lambert, and you are watching the David Goodman Reality and Truth Show. Thank you so much for joining us today. I have a very special guest. He's also a friend and a partner of mine, Mr. Milford Edwards Sr. He is the president of Radio 1400.am, the sound of peace and love. And I want to thank you so much for driving all the way from New York on a Friday.
Oh, yes.
Of course, there's no traffic, right?
Oh,
Driving
no.
all the way from New York on a Friday just to share this information that you have with the community. Before we get into our program, I just want to say to everybody that continue to do your job to crush COVID. COVID is always number one on my list. I see that the numbers are going back up. Do your part to crush COVID. The Delta variant is out there, and it seems like the numbers are going back up. Hospitalizations are going back up. So I'm just going to ask you to be, vigilant and just try to continue to do what you need to do to help this disease go away. And my condolences to everyone who has lost anyone or have anybody sick in the hospital from this dreadful disease. And on that note, I just want to introduce Milford again. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you for the invitation, for the opportunity to speak with your audience, Vanita.
You're welcome.
It's a great, distinct pleasure.
You are so welcome. And I am a part of his audience. So I love being on different platforms.
Sure.
And because of Mr. Edwards, I have the opportunity to grow my business on the radio, which is his radio platform. It's on demand, it's on smart speaker. Even if you have a flip phone, you could call in and listen to my Medicare and retirement planning show. So what he's creating here is something very unique, and something that the community can really, really benefit from. So why don't you just tell us a little bit about your background, how you got started, and where we are now.
Well, thank you again for the opportunity, Vanita, and welcome once again to your audience this afternoon. I just wanted to say that we started in this market, in the Bridgeport market, in 2001. We went on air in 2001 on the 2nd of October, 3 weeks after 9/11. With Mr. Otto Miller, WDJZ Radio. That's how that whole thing started. And what we did, we created a community platform on air at 15:30 a.m. for people to come in and do radio ministries, do their own talk shows and music for the community. We call it Lease Time Radio. Okay. And so we continued in that genre, building with the community over those years until 2016. And then we transferred over to Radio 1400.am. And in fact, WSTC 1400 and WNLK 1350 AM. And we continued in that same genre. Because of the changes that have been taking place in the media landscape, things have changed and the challenges are there. We've decided to embark on what we consider to be a digital platform with Radio 1400.am, the sound of peace and love. And that is basically what we are doing now. And what that does, it gives our independent producers, such as yourself, an opportunity to have a presence online. And what I mean by that, Vanita, is that each producer has their own on-demand channel. So once your program runs on our system, on our live stream, we upload it to your on-demand channel where people can go back and listen at their own leisure. It also helps you now to market yourself through that tool. We also have another platform where we use the Alexa, right? The smart speaker. Alexa, play Radio 1400.am, and we are there as well. Now, there are also people, because we try to think of everybody, there are also people who are much older and who are not familiar with the technology as it is evolving. And so what we did, we gave them an opportunity to call in. So there's a call-in number, 563-999-3149, where people can call in to listen to the radio. Because when we started on 1350 WNLK, a lot of people who used to listen to 1530 couldn't hear us. Okay. And so I did some research and found that there was an organization that provided that service through a telephone. So people in nursing homes or in the hospitals, or people who were just at home, just wanted to hear something from us, they could just call that number and they could listen at their own leisure as well.
That's it. That's awesome. So that number again is
563
okay.
999
Okay.
3149.
Okay, write that number down.
And that's a
because
call
there's
to
some
listen.
Great information. You could just call in to listen.
Right.
Especially if you're at work and you're trying to, you can just put your little earphones
Right.
on
And call the
and
number.
listen
Right.
into it.
Yes, and so we found that that has been a very useful tool for people who, especially those who are not as flexible with the technology in today's older folks and so on and so forth. So we try to accommodate everybody's needs. Now, for the younger folks, as we mentioned, we are now on the smart speaker with Alexa, so they can be driving in their cars and they say, Alexa, play radio 1400.am. So that is another convenience. So we try to accommodate everybody's needs. And of course, we're streaming live 24/7. So on our stream platform, you can listen at any time. And there's always a variety of different programs there. We play music. We play programs such as yours.
Yes.
The health Medicare program, right?
Medicare
which is on
Retirement
Tuesday
Planning Show.
at 2 o'clock on Tuesdays, right?
Yes.
And what we find is that we provide a platform for people from our communities, particularly the minority communities. They also have information that is indigenous to their needs.
Exactly.
So that is also important. So we try to accommodate the community as best as possible. Media is transcending a lot. So we came off air. We are no longer on 1350 and 1400, as I said before. But because what I realize is that on those frequencies, you only have a protracted area of coverage, whereas online, it is worldwide.
Yes.
And so, for instance, if somebody were to come onto our facility, they could have, say, an affiliate somewhere in, say, Florida. That person could be partnering with them and have their people down there working with them through, say, for instance, your program, through their on-demand channel, or when they're on live, participating with them. So it opens up a whole new experience for all
Absolutely.
communities in that regard.
So what you're saying, as take me for example, I'm an independent contractor for Medicare
Right.
and long-term care and life insurance, and I'm licensed in Connecticut, Maryland, and North Carolina. So what I can do
Exactly.
is market from your facility
Right.
down to North Carolina. Everybody could hear it and get the information.
That's correct.
And everything is online. That's a beautiful thing. That's where we're going.
Bearing in mind too that Medicare it affects everybody.
Yes.
So it's not just for Connecticut, everybody throughout
That's
the
right.
entire United States. So you can be, people who have a particular concern may be able to go to your on-demand channel and say, for instance, you're looking at information about retirement plans. They have the programs listed by date.
Yep.
And then we have the themes of the programs, so if they go down the list and they see what they want to hear, they can click and listen to it at their own leisure. So we try to be as creative as possible while maintaining a certain standard of professionalism for our communities in that regard.
Yeah, and that, that exemplifies the true meaning of community service.
Right.
Servicing the community, giving them information that they're going to need, and not just our community, all the communities.
All communities.
Because I had a guest then from Jamaica.
Okay.
They could listen. I
Yes.
think you remember
Yes.
Donna and
Yes.
Diane.
Right, that's correct.
So I
Yes.
think, did you do something in Jamaica? Did you have a station there a while ago, or
Well-
did you
well-
broadcast there or something?
Oh yes, well,
Okay.
I'm from Jamaica.
Okay.
I'm from Jamaica.
I couldn't tell by your accent.
Okay, well, I'm from Jamaica, and I started. That's where I started my career in broadcasting. I used to work at the Jamaica Broadcasting Corporation, and I worked there for 8 years. And then I've been here in the United States of America, working in different areas. I've worked at WMCA Radio in New York, which at the time was a talk radio station, and I was a producer there. I've worked at WFAN, the sports radio station, where I used to help in producing Knicks and Ranger games.
Oh, okay.
Yes, on the radio broadcasts and so on and so forth. I've also worked in satellite communications. I worked with a company called IDB, which eventually became Globecast Communications. And I was there for quite a while, for about 11 years. And I learned all the in and outs of satellite communications. And it was a wonderful thing, both for video and for audio. So that was a great experience back then. And I also developed my own platforms. There was a company that I started with a friend of mine called Irie Jam, which is a Caribbean radio programming, which we created the first, pioneered the first digital simulcast between Jamaica and New York City on 2 radio stations simulcasting the same program at the same time. So people listening in Jamaica were able to call in.
Oh,
and because
wow.
and people in New York were able to call in and have conversations on the air and so on and so forth.
Nice.
And that knowledge came because of my exposure to the satellite communications with digital platforms which were developing at that point.
Awesome.
So I used that as an opportunity to expand it into the community with Irie Jam. So they launched back in 1994, I think it was. Yeah, they launched, and they're still around actually. Yes, so I've had quite a bit of experience in that regard. Yes,
you do. So I'll tell you one of my favorite parts of your show that you do is the interview that I did with you.
Oh yes, the community hour. Yes.
Yeah. Oh, that's what it's called, the community hour. So
yes.
I was so excited. Well, a little bit nervous and excited. I came in and I wanted to grow my business.
Right.
And I wanted people to know why I wanted to grow my business and why I wanted to do this in this area. And so part of your show gives you the opportunity to come in and have a one-on-one interview about whatever your business is or your service is, and you explain to the community, and that goes on at like
at 1 o'clock in the
at 1
afternoon.
o'clock, which is the prime time.
Right.
And then it was followed up by a commercial with my voice on it.
Yeah.
So
well, yes, that's a unique. Well, I tell you,
awesome and unique. If you're an independent contractor like myself, you don't have a business to
Yes.
go to. What better platform
That is
to
true.
reach people
That is so true.
when it's convenient for them,
Right.
being on demand, and all over the world. And one of the things that I did that I had never done before, I started doing my show with you back in, what was it, April 2020, during the COVID era.
right? Yeah,
Because everybody was staying at home, everybody was alone, and they still needed this information. So I figured, what better way to
Right.
reach these people than through the radio? So anyway, getting back to my point, I was painting my deck this a couple months ago, trying to help my husband out, stain the deck, because I give an appreciation party for all of my clients.
yes.
So while I was
annual
out there,
party.
yes, while I was out there, I listened to every last one of my shows.
Oh yes, you did.
And I just want to say, I don't have the experience he has. I'm not this great big radio personality. But what I did enjoy was that the information was there, and when I kind of like made a mistake, I was able to correct it because we're all humans. And I kind of put that little disclaimer out there. I don't have my degree in education. I'm an insurance agent. But the reason I do my radio show is because I want to, and it's free information, I want to make sure everybody in our community have all the information. I sit down with folks and do Medicare, 10 to 15 families a week. And what I'm learning is people don't have the information.
Exactly.
And if you don't have the information, you cannot take advantage of the benefits. So you got to get the free information.
That's correct.
And that's what we're trying to do with this radio station.
Right.
And it's not just Medicare and retirement. It's about rent rebates. It's about zoning.
Legal
it's about
issues.
religion. Just a variety
Right.
of areas that affect us, and
Yes.
that's just so powerful.
I think it represents the voices of the community.
Okay.
And that's basically what the concept is, because as we said, it's what we call brokered radio, lease time radio, where people come in and buy their own time. So you become an independent producer, and we guide you through the process of either doing your program live or recording your program in accordance with what your needs are. And so we assist you in that regard, as you very well know.
Thank you.
And then,
See how well he cleans it up for me?
So that's basically the idea, because one of the things we take pride in how we present ourselves to the public, because one of the things I just wanted to say this to the audience, that we don't take our listeners for granted. In terms of radio, people are invited into your space, say for instance in your car or in your home, and you don't know who is listening. And you know, it's an invitation, as if I were coming into your home. You invited me into your home, into your space. And I think that there should be a certain kind of respect and regard for that. So that is how we approach our programming, our platforms in that regard. So it is done professionally as best we can, for the consideration of the listener, and hopefully they can gain something for it. As I said, we are the sound of peace and love. So we try to present things in that context, with that kind of aura,
Yes.
of peace and love, in a warmth of understanding. You know, everybody can come in and listen. You know, we're not bashing anybody or anything like that. It's just a matter of everybody being able to partake. We're from whatever community, you're able to partake and enjoy the information. And of course, there are music opportunities for people who want to play music, DJs and so on and so forth, and they play the music in accordance with that kind of consideration as well.
Absolutely. It's very professional. You just feel right at home when you're listening, because we are, you know, trying to speak directly to you. And, you know, that's important to us. We want to make sure that you're comfortable and that you're getting all the information that you need from us.
Right, that is
true. And so you feel right at home, and that's what I love about it. It's just like being at home.
Right.
And I love sharing my information. I always run out of time, you know. I have, you know, a certain amount of time that I have to do. And of course, I'm looking at my clock and I'm always running over, because, you know, the people that are there are passionate about what they're doing. Like, I see the ministers that you have
Your
in there.
pastors.
I know they run over their time.
Yes.
Ministers always keep you in the church longer and everything. I know you probably just have to cut them off at certain times, but you know, we care about the community, and that's what we're into it for. You know, that's why we're there.
Sure.
And that's why we, you know, invite, you know, other, you know, people in other areas of professionalism, other backgrounds.
Talking about that also, we also offer people the opportunity to do podcasts if they want to.
Oh, podcasts. Okay. See, I don't know how to do that.
And one of the things that we are embarking on is, you know, I might just say this because it's something that I'm passionate about, is having an opportunity for people who are interested to learn more about basics of broadcasting, radio broadcasting, in terms of kind of training. Give people basic training so that they can expand in whatever area they want to, as a way to do this. This started when we were at WDJZ, when Mr. Miller, who owned the WDJZ, and he employed me then as the general manager. And one of the things he asked me to do was to train the independent producers, to give them some training so that the station had that professional presentation, the professional sound. And so we did that. And so we want to do this in a much more formal, structured way, offering it to the community. So we're working on things like that behind the scenes to get to that point eventually.
And that's like, you know, what you're doing is you're helping people decide, or helping them with a career.
Yes.
You know, if you learn how to do the boards, which, you know I still have to do that. I keep saying it. I'm old school. I'm a boomer, so I haven't gotten there yet. But, you know, like the millennials that come in and they learn how to do the board and they get interested in it, sometimes a career chooses you when you don't necessarily know which way you want to go.
That is quite true.
And a lot of these things, you know, with broadcasting, you could start, like you said, with a podcast. It's just like a round table, right? Because it's something like Red Table Talk with Jada Smith. What she does is a podcast. It's on Facebook all the time.
Right. People do podcasts, video and radio.
Okay.
So what we provide is the atmosphere for you to come in and record your podcast if you wish to do that, and we send it to whatever platforms you may wish to do that. You know, Spotify or whoever it is, you might want to send it to them, whichever platform. But it is, what we are saying is that it's professionally done, so that it represents you in a very professional light. And that's important. That's very important.
Absolutely. So podcasts, when you say, so we come to your station, and we sit at a table like this, and you
Right.
provide the atmosphere and all the equipment and
Recording,
everything,
right.
and we do a podcast. So it's kind of like a recording, and then you
And
send
send
it
it-
over to like YouTube or
Right,
Facebook or somebody.
exactly,
Oh,
exactly.
See, I didn't know that. I thought it
Yes.
was.
Yes.
I thought it was like going live on Facebook.
Well,
I
well-
told you I'm in the middle somewhere.
And the thing about, because as I said, the technology is evolving constantly, so therefore there are new opportunities, that new trends that are constantly coming around. So if you have the basics, and the podcast provides that for you, it provides a basic for you to project yourself into that digital platform, into that digital area, so that it gives you a grounding, if you will.
Okay.
And then you grow from there. You can expand into video, as you mentioned a while ago, like YouTube or something like that, or into other areas, and expand what it is that you're doing. Because remember now that the World Wide Web is exactly that, the World Wide Web, and there are no limitations.
Oh, okay.
Because you're talking about people in Europe, people in Africa,
Everywhere.
in the Caribbean. So it's all a matter of how you project and see yourself. It's a platform for you to advance your presence on the digital platform.
Technology is amazing.
Yes.
I mean, really amazing. For example, my son is an IT
Okay.
major, so he knows all about that stuff. His girlfriend is having a baby.
Well, congratulations,
I could be a
Grandma.
grandmother right now and not even know it because she was fully dilated when I came in here.
Congratulations. That's wonderful.
Thank you. I know it's on the way, and I know we're having a girl.
Okay.
And he works the night shift. So what he did, he gave her an app to click on the app and to start it whenever the cramp started, so she could
Oh.
time it. I was.
Oh, that's wonderful.
I thought that's amazing. I was
Yes.
like, we didn't have anything like that 29 years ago when we were pregnant. So this way, the doctor tells you, you don't have to call me until you're 7 minutes apart and the cramps are 30 minutes long. So
So
it's
you-
just
so-
amazing what you can do with technology, depending on the field that you're in or
Sure.
the business that you're in.
Sure.
And with the experience and the background that you have, you could take this, like you said, to the whole world.
Yes,
And
and-
I'm so happy to be a part of it. I'm here at ground level.
Well, there's always room for growth.
Exactly.
I'm still learning. I've been in the business for quite a while, but I'm still learning because there are always new ideas and new trends to evolve towards.
Yeah.
And so we try to impart that kind of passion to our clients, as well as to our listeners and people who are part of what we're doing. So it's important. Communications is a very basic aspect of our lives, and without communications, we couldn't really get things done. And so media, television, radio, and the different platforms that they have are very, very important. They, I think, are responsible for the kind of growth and expansion of knowledge that has taken place in the society over the last 30, 40, 50 years.
Absolutely.
So that's important, and that continues. Look at what happened the other day. Jeff Bezos flew up.
Oh, I know. 11 minutes.
So the next thing you know is that we'll be broadcasting to people.
And on the moon.
Right.
But-
I'm just saying that, but you never know. You just never know, because
That's what they're trying to do. That's the purpose of
100
it.
years ago, Benita, 100 years ago, when radio started, nobody had an idea where it would have gotten to. So,
I know.
it's continuously evolving. So we're always learning.
Yes, we are. Communication is a core
Yes.
to every relationship, to everything. And without it, I mean, even marriage, you have to communicate.
Yes. Yes.
And if you have a business or service, you have to communicate or you're not going to be successful.
Right.
Whether it's
right.
the restaurant business or the insurance business or even the radio business.
That is
So
absolutely
it's
true.
just a core to success in every facet I can think of.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed.
Especially in business.
Yeah, I think that when practitioners in media have the opportunity to share information, I think it is a very, very powerful tool.
Yes,
To lift people up,
exactly.
to give them information, and I'm talking about information that is validated, that is authentic, that people can verify in the various areas of interest and expertise. That's important as well.
Exactly. And it's important, for people that would like to call in to listen to them.
Exactly.
There's a lot of anxiety and, a lot of mental health issues. And it's just important for somebody who lived alone during COVID to have a radio station, which there are plenty out there, whether it's sports, no matter what your outlet is, to call in and vent and to talk to somebody.
That's important.
So, there's another area that we could offer to our community.
Exactly.
If once we get, the right person in, a mental health advocate, to join
Exactly.
our station and have people call in and just provide a service.
That is important.
It's a certain type of ministry.
It
what
is.
I
That's
do
a good
is
point.
a certain, yeah.
It's a
What I
ministry,
do is a
yes.
certain part of ministry, because when I started this job, it's because everybody else, you need a job to pay your bills.
Mm-hmm.
But as I went along, a lot of times I'll go into a home and, not even look at compensation. I'm just looking to help people. And sometimes I walk out, I'll drive to Hartford to help somebody or whatever,
Yes.
and not make anything. But why do I feel so good after that? Community service.
And you have the passion for it, and that's important.
Thank you. And I want to mention one person, I'm not going to say his name, he lives in Bridgeport, called me up and left a message. He saw me on this show, and he said he always watched it. So, hi. He did. He said he always watched it, and he called and left me a message regarding Medicare. It was very confusing to him. And I went over to his house. I've been there twice already. I sat with him and his wife, and we're getting things.
Okay.
We're getting that Medicare puzzle resolved, because
Wonderful.
Medicare has so many different moving parts. But the biggest part for me is he called me
That's
to help
important.
him.
Yes.
He said, I think you are the person. I saved the voicemail. I can't even delete it. So, and that's what we're here for.
Yes, exactly.
Whether it's Medicare or, just mental health awareness,
Right.
suicide prevention, or what have you. So, and we're so passionate about this, we have 1 minute left.
Oh, time flies when you're having
So
fun.
It sure does. So I'm going to give you the last word. What would you like to share with our audience?
Well, I just want to say again, thank you, Vanita, for inviting me to this platform to share our information about Radio 1400.am, the sound of peace and love, inviting the community to be a part of what we do. Their information is there on the screen. You can contact us through our email. And of course, we'll be happy to respond to anyone who wants to be a part of it. And I just want to say this from someone who I respect, the special words. It says, we must become members of a new race, overcoming petty prejudice, owing our ultimate allegiance not to nations, but to our fellow men within the human community. And that's what we are all about, peace and love.
Amen.
Thank
Well,
you.
you're welcome back anytime. Thank you for coming. And that's the end of our show. So this is the David Goodman Reality and Truth Show, and we're on your side.
Thank you.